Third item is from Deputy Patrick O'Donovan to the Minister for Justice and Equality. The need for a review of the laws in relation to speed detection cameras and the use of go-safe vans on roads here.
Thanks very much, Count Corla, and thanks for allowing this topical issue to go forward, because it is very topical and it actually covers two government departments in Justice and Transport. And at the outset, can I just say I think that everybody is on the one voice when we say that anything that can be done to make our roads safer is a good thing. And there's no doubt about it that in the recent past, the behaviours of drivers on our roads has changed, and changed for the better. Unfortunately, we've seen in the last number of years, particularly the last year, the number of road fatalities is beginning to creep up again. That being said, a very worrying development has also been happening over the last number of months, even years rather, where cases are being thrown out of our district courts in huge numbers. And it's no exaggeration that since 2009, and the response that the Minister gave me herself, 1,393 cases have been thrown out of district courts in relation to go-safe vans. Now, the difficulty that I have with this is that if the implementation of the speed detection system is to be seen to be fair, and if it's seen to be impartial, and if it's seen to be doing what it says on the tin, then this should not be happening. This year alone, in Castlebar, 59 cases have been thrown out, in Ennis, 133, Gorey 71, Nina 68, Wexford 71, and a whole clatter of other ones, culminating last week in a situation in a court in the Cavan-Mannan area, where the judge, entirely within his remit, referred to the law being brought into disrepute. Now, this is very serious, that we're having a situation where, on the one hand, if a person receives a notification in the post telling him or her that they have had penalty points, or that they've been detected breaking the speed limit, and as a result they have a fine and penalty points, which I have had myself in the recent past attached to them, and they take them. On the other hand, we have people saying, well, I didn't actually receive the notice. It goes into court and it's thrown out. There's a massive unfairness built into this, and it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed soon. Because there's two problems that I see in it. On the one hand, we have a situation where legitimately detected speed offences aren't being upheld by the system, because the system is flawed, and flawed massively, it seems. And on the other hand, you have people who do the right thing for a lot of reasons, say, yeah, I did break the speed limit, yes, I did take, and I do take the penalty points, and I did pay the fine. Where do those people now stand in relation to this issue? All of those penalty points that have been attached, all of the insurance premiums that have gone up in the last number of years because people have had penalty points attached to their licence. And where does it leave them? Because it was suggested to me at the weekend that this issue, will only be, I suppose, really put to bed. And penalty points, be it from the whistleblower's point of view or these go-safe vans' point of view, has been dogged with controversy in the recent past, and it really does need to be put to bed once and for all, that the law needs to be seen to be impartial, it needs to be blind to interference, be it from loopholes that you could drive a lorry through, or interference from members of the Gardaí, which has been reported by whistleblowers. It has to be seen to be fair. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what's this about? This is about trying to make our roads safer. And it's about trying to change people's behaviours. People's behaviours are not going to change. In fact, they'll probably get worse if they feel that there's a way out of getting penalty points attached to your licence, if all you have to say is, Judge, I never received it. And I have no doubt in my mind that, that some of the lists of district court hearings there are legitimate ones where people didn't receive them. I have no doubt about that. But I would be very dubious, Count Corla, to say that 1,393 people since 2009, all of those summonses or all of those letters or all of those notices just vanished into thin air, or were in the bottom of a postbag and were dropped into the Liffey or something. I would be very dubious about that. I don't actually believe that. I don't think anybody believes it. And I think it's time that this was fixed.
Minister.
Cian Corla, on behalf of the Minister for Justice and Equality, I'd like to thank the Deputy for raising this important issue. The Minister regrets that she is unable to be present as she is abroad on official business. The Minister has asked that I emphasise that the initial decision to introduce outsourced safety cameras came after a number of years of detailed analysis and was identified as a key additional measure to reduce deaths and serious collisions on our roads. I need not remind the Deputy that the Road Safety Authority and Garda Síochána and many others working in the field of road safety continue to emphasise the role speeding plays in serious collisions. Excessive and inappropriate speed is the #1 road safety concern. The advice of the Minister, in fact, is that in many instances, reducing the speed by even a few kilometres per hour can make all the difference to the severity of a collision. It was against this background that GoSafe was awarded the contract to provide outsourced safety cameras in November 2009, following a tender process. Operations commenced in November 2010 and were supported by advertising and an awareness-raising campaign highlighting the life-saving objective of the cameras. The Minister would like to clarify that GoSafe is paid based on the number of hours of surveys and monitoring. The number of detections has no bearing on the payments made. The service provided by GoSafe operates under the overall direction and oversight of Garda Síochána, including with respect to scheduling of speed monitoring, training and quality assurance. Vans operate in defined speed enforcement zones, the location of which is in the public domain, including on the Garda website. These zones were identified following an objective and evidence-based analysis of collision data and speed surveys. Compliance has increased across the zones since the network was introduced. For example, between January 2011 and October 2013, compliance in 50 km per hour limit zones increased from 62% to 98%, while compliance in 80 km per hour zones increased to 96%. The Garda authorities are reviewing the location of the zones on a continuous basis to ensure the cameras are located where they can have the most impact on safety. All of the analysis carried out points to the conclusion that the safety cameras have saved lives and therefore bring enormous human and economic benefits. Moreover, research carried out on behalf of the RSA earlier this year found that 81% of adults surveyed supported the use of safety cameras and 71% surveyed believed them to be effective in influencing motorists to drive more safely. It is also important to bear in mind that the safety cameras free up Garda resources for other road safety enforcement, including more mobile operations, as well as carrying out alcohol checkpoints. The Minister is of course aware of the recent court cases in which GoSafe speeding detections have been dismissed. The Deputy will appreciate that it would not be appropriate for the Minister to comment on the outcome of specific cases before the courts. She has, however, discussed the matter with the Garda authorities and understands that they are carefully studying the recent rulings and taking legal advice, including with respect to the possibility of seeking clarification from the higher courts. This is being addressed by the Garda authorities as a matter of urgency, and developments will be reported to the Minister. Insofar as the question of reviewing the law is concerned, the legislation governing the operation by Garda Síochána of speed detection cameras and the use of outsourced safety cameras is contained in Section 81 of the Road Traffic Act 2010, which comes under the remit of the Department of Transport, Tourism and Sport. The advice from Garda Síochána, however, is that the recent court cases do not identify issues which would warrant amendment of the legislation. I would like to thank the Deputy again for raising this important issue and will certainly communicate the points he has made to the Minister.
Thanks, Count Corla, and can I acknowledge the presence of the Minister for Transport? I think this is important that the Minister is here, and I acknowledge the discussions that I've had with him in relation to this already. Minister, the reply is fine. The reply tells me everything I know about speed detection systems. That's not what I asked. What I asked was, in 2011, in 2012, 111 cases were thrown out of Naas District Court, and these are figures from your own department. This has nothing to do with what has happened in the last couple of weeks. This is going on since 2009. In 2012 alone, 936 cases were thrown out of courts across the country. So it's not today or yesterday that this problem is starting. And it goes back to, I have a really fundamental issue in relation to this, that the law at the moment, as it's constructed, is definitely not seen to be fair. Because if you can say that you didn't receive the necessary documentation in the post, and you go into court and you say that, the court on based on the figures here, will likely come down on your side and say, well, you probably didn't receive it. The result is 1,393 cases since 2009 have been thrown out. Now, I don't know what the resolution to this is, but we had the Transport Committee in the Oireachtas this morning. I made the proposal, and it has been accepted that both government departments, together with the Gardaí and legal practitioners, will come in to discuss this issue. because this is, at the end of the day, this is a fundamental issue about road safety, but it's also a fundamental issue about fairness of the law. And I go back to one of the points that I made earlier. If I'm after getting 3 penalty points because I took the notice with the picture of my car in it, detected in County Limerick, breaking the speed limit and paid the fine, and another person got the same notice, claimed they didn't get it, walked into court and say I didn't get it and was thrown out, there is a gross unfairness in that and has to be resolved, because people are getting penalty points attached to their licence, their insurance premiums are going up, and rightly so, but other people are getting off scot-free, and it needs to be addressed. So I would really like to see both government departments come together with a more comprehensive answer in this. And I think just finally, Ceann Comhairle, just one, the advice from the Garda Síochána, however, is that recent court cases do not identify issues that would warrant a change in the legislation. The judge in Monaghan last week said that the law was being brought into disrepute. What more needs to be said from the bench of an independent court in the country before something needs to happen? Gormagat.
Thanks to Ceann Comhairle, and thanks, Deputy, again for his contribution. I know his contribution was mainly not about the effectiveness of otherwise the speed cameras. I appreciate that, and I think the Deputy will appreciate in the answer as provided does indicate that the Minister takes this issue seriously and has liaised with the Garda authorities, not in a position, however, to discuss individual cases that you have outlined yourself, but that the Gardaí are studying the recent rulings and taking legal advice with respect to the possibility of seeking clarification from the higher courts. I take your points on board, Deputy. I will communicate them, obviously, to the Minister for Justice. It is convenient the Minister for Transport is also here, and collectively, I'm assuming that I will endeavour that you get a more detailed response. But given the position of the Minister for Justice, unable to make comments on individual cases, it has been discussed with Garda authorities. They are aware of the issue that you have raised, and we will endeavour to cross-departmentally to give you a more direct response if you require one. Okay.